Welcome to SCHALE Rifleworks, a series where we're gonna explore some of the setups that I will put under the SCHALE Rifleworks brand, which is basically just my personal setups that aren't really the most effective, but they all share a certain characteristic that I enjoy and that may be effective in deadline. Starting with our M4 receiver, we'll replace it with the N4 Gen 3 upper, and for the lower we'll use the N4 Gen 3 lower. We'll remove this. We'll change our gas block to the Mark 12 low profile, our barrel to the 18-inch custom spiral, and our handguard to the 16.25-inch LVOA-C. Then for our muzzle, we'll use a War Comp with a RC2 that is black. We'll take the handguard and we'll color it Alpine. Same with our upper, our buffer tube, and our lower. Then for our grip, we'll use the Ergo PSG. For our magazine, we'll just use a PMag with a 223 or a Ranger M3. That's the only variable of this build. For our stock, we'll use the collapsible mil spec, and we'll put on the Alpine camo once again. We'll put it around there. Then on the bottom, we'll use the long accessory rail, and we'll put on the AFG-2 on that. Move it around here. For our bolt, we'll use the Radian Weapons, our trigger, the Rice Armaments, or the Radian Weapons Air-15 Flat Vertex, and the Radian Weapons Extended Fire Selector here. For our charging handle, we'll just keep it with our Noveski Love. Then on top, we'll use an OGL. We'll put it around here so that matches with our grip. And then we'll add on CAC micros. We'll start with our front base, and then we'll put on a rear base. Let's move that around, fold them down, and we're there. And finally, we'll take the TA51 thumb screw. We'll move it about here. Then we'll use the TA11D back, and on the rear mount, we'll put on either an SRO or an RMR. I use an SRO in this case. And for ammo, use M196 55 grain because that's what works. This thing is good for suppression, even though it doesn't have the highest suppression stat due to it being M196. People will barely ever spot you using this thing, especially if you're on Wrath of the Abominable. Height over bore on the SRO isn't that good though. So what are my thoughts on the SCHALE Rifleworks LVSPR? The LVSPR is quite a good gun. It has no recoil. You can go full auto with it happily at close range and hip fire, and you'll probably hit your target. However, that doesn't take into account the SPR part of the name. In reality, this is an SPR but without an SPR optic stack, I'd say, because this only goes up to about 3.5 times, whereas an SPR would probably go at minimum a 2 to 10 times from what I've heard. I don't own a gun, so I can't make out of that. So I can't make of what's an SPR and what's a not SPR optic stack. However, the main reason why I made this white is because I've been watching Girls and Panda recently, and White Witch Yoko, this really made me feel like that. I was doming people from quite long ranges, and M196 apparently is one hell of a round. You don't need to kill them, but it's sure gonna do a sizable amount of damage, and it's surprisingly good for suppression rolls. Better than M855 actually. Whereas M855, they won't be able to shoot. Here, they won't be able to aim. So they could shoot at you, but it's really hard for them because it's gonna be more hip fire. And as you're aware, many people are not good at hip fire. I am one of the few that I can say are decent, but even then, it's hard to hip fire. So, being able to stop them from aiming and hip fire effectively, in my opinion, is more effective in an SPR roll, because this thing only has a 3 times, meaning you're gonna have to go to closer ranges and you can't dome them from 300 meters. So it's always nice to have that kind of suppression rather than the regular general suppression, I'd say, with the 100% suppression rate. So in short, yes, you should use this. It's very fun to use actually, and it has no recoil. It's one of the few M4 setups that has no recoil, so yeah, that's a given. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more SCHALE Rifleworks weaponry.